Welcome back, everybody. I'm recording from my hotel in New Zealand. It's Friday, just before the big 100-plus player armory that they got lined up. I think it's a draft one, so that happens in a couple of hours, 4 hours or whatever. Anyway, I thought you guys, some of you messaged to ask how my trip's going, what cool stuff I've seen. So I got a little care package, a gift package, very generously from LSS. This is obviously my spoiler dragon. These playmats were just fresh off the press, so I got given one. It's no zones, like the artist one, but I believe these will be prize wall tickets for redemption. I didn't see the other dragons, but I'm assuming if there's a chrome eye, there's the other dragons. But absolutely sick gift from LSS. I have a couple of, one spoilery type thing to show you. I'm not going to tell you when and where you're going to be getting these, but you'll be seeing them very soon. A lot of you will be getting them. It's a bit like a 800 count box. Really good quality. Obviously can be used. Can it be used? Yes, you could actually fold up a playmat and roll it up in here. That would fit. They had some of these lying around. I might give this one away and I open it to show you what's in it. But obviously, TCG player is in the US, in the Oceania region. We don't get like reasonable access to these, but they had a few sample ones in the. That's a fancy envelope. They had a few that were sent to them by TCG player. Breaking Point. I didn't grab sleeves for this video, but I'll sleeve this up. Comment below if you want the Breaking Point. I'll do a giveaway and ship it to you. Sorry about the quality and the lighting. I can't do much about it. I had no intentions of filming actually, but the last little thing I got given was this box of Uprising. So might as well open it. I don't want to take it back with me. I want to take just the hits from it. Keep the weight of the luggage down. I was already over when I came. Main reason I'm making the video is to talk to you guys. I did spend a good 4 hours with James. Who was very generous with his time, so I thought I'd share what we discussed, what I learned. I didn't really ask him if I could talk about it or not. I have a good feeling of what I can discuss and not. In all honesty, there wasn't much, I guess, secret or confidential stuff at all discussed that I would be keeping from you guys. But while I open this, I'll go through some of it. So we obviously talked about a lot of things. I got to have lunch with him. I spent some time at the office, played some Fab games with some of the dev team, and all in all, it was very fun. The discussion with James, I didn't have like an agenda going in, although I had some ideas of my own to run past him. And as you guys know, I'm pretty passionate about the game and the community, so I sort of wanted to put my hand up in case LSS could use any help with anything, especially projects sort of in my side of the world in Australia. But we did actually discuss sort of balance and, bans and Starvo and the thought process. I shared with him like my feeling of, I guess, some of these heroes that are super easy to pilot or super easy to build, and like Starvo. And look, speaking of James, you get a very good indication that he's definitely is across all of this stuff. He's not blind to it. He's very receptive. He wants to listen to feedback. He does see most of the feedback, if not all of it. If he doesn't personally see it, he will have people that relay the feedback to him. It seems to me like a mixture of COVID and ooh, here we go. Is this a... okay. I mean, thanks LSS. Cold foil tiger stripe Shuko. Boom. Beautiful hit. I mean, that's the box right there. So yeah, we talked about it. There's no like spice to give you here other than they're very much across balancing, and there's some stuff that happened in Aria that probably won't get repeated. Obviously, we're talking about Briar and Duskblade specifically here were clearly a little bit too much, and that's been addressed and rectified. Briar's in, I think, a very good place, but there's also that snowball effect or butterfly effect of removing some natural counters to Starvo, and you guys might be aware of this, but the balancing around Starvo happened when Briar still had Ball Lightning, Lexi still had Ball Lightning, and Chain still had Plunder Run. I believe that's when that testing was going, which put Starvo in like a decent place, but definitely not overpowered because he was still being kept in check by decks like Prism. And anyway, we all know this if you follow this game and the conversations in detail. But it was good to just get like a feeling of how they look at it. The reason I brought up balancing and stuff is I was more going down the line of I feel like they should pay a bit more attention to if a character or card is very powerful without a drawback. If you compare, let's say, Dorinthia with her on-hit ability, being able to swing again, and how easy it is for people to counter weapon counters and counter that second swing, compared to Starvo or Briar, or some other characters where they were a bit too powerful because first they're easy to pilot, but also their ability doesn't have a big drawback that can be taken advantage of. So, in Starvo's ability, it's just have the cards and reveal them. Yes, you got to put some crappy cards in the deck, but anyway, look, this has been spoken about a million times. I won't get into it. But that was a chunk of the conversation. Also, I thanked him for the content creator support stuff, and he didn't tell me exactly what the plan is, but there is some very cool content creator support stuff coming. They specifically want people to monetize their content creator support kits. It's there for the community, but it is definitely there to make sure that content creators have that little bit of a bit like your armory kits in stores is for the community, but it allows stores to sort of monetize them, run events with good price support, etc. I'm very excited to see because obviously they're a very creative team and they have some pretty cool ideas. No, I don't have specifics. I would hazard a guess that it's around the type of support, like the Taylor promo, like the Judicator promo, that kind of thing, where content creators might Phoenix form, not full art, but very, very cool. So yeah, definitely that's on their radar. The full art heralds were sort of leftovers or remnants from a few sets and seasons ago that maybe weren't used up and now have been, I believe. So I don't think we'll be seeing any more full art heralds. I think that the new stuff coming for content creators is going to be quite spicy. I know a lot of you I've seen publicly people ask about marketing, etc. I believe from talking to James, marketing is like one of the top priorities at the moment. I believe they might. It's like a hiring priority. They're looking for partnering with someone or hiring someone to really push their marketing and get the, more mainstream, more gaming news type public relations and marketing, where they're aware that that's something that'll really help with the game growth. But it's not something they've been able to do with the team size that they have and the skill sets that they have. But he's not oblivious to it, if that's sort of what I'm saying. He brought that up himself. That's like their big number one challenge. I would have immediately offered to help, but I have no background in marketing. But if you know someone that's has like executive level experience in marketing, someone that could be responsible for a global company and cross-platform marketing and public relations and has some of those relationships, by all means, get them to get in touch with LSS. Maybe it's something that could be looked at. I believe also New Zealand's had the problem of not being able to import any labor. Like even if they wanted to hire someone from Asia or the US or Europe or even Australia, they haven't been able to with the way the lockdowns happened in the last few months. Now that that's all getting a bit more relaxed, they would be able to. So that's, I believe, I'm not sure if that's public info, but I mean, if they're hiring someone in the marketing area and wanting to spend money to further the game, then by all means, if someone has someone in mind or a company in mind or something, feel free to get them to get in touch. It's a need. It's there. We talked about PvE. I explained my hopes and dreams for PvE, which I've shared on this channel. Like the idea of sort of raiding and loot. And although he didn't confirm or deny what they have coming, he's very excited for PvE. It seems like PvE and, to a point, UPF are probably he's aware that they're probably the two biggest catalysts for growing the game, which will lead me into the next point as well. But he's aware that the casual market is much bigger than the actual people that will end up in the Pro Tour. And that's the same as everything. If you look at any sport, the grassroots movement, the casual movement, the spectator movement is where all the money and growth is. And then people that play it at a professional level are usually the minority specialists, but having that aspiration where you could maybe learn the game through a casual format like commoner, but aspire to win a Pro Tour is sort of the direction they want to go. It's just the obvious one. I actually asked him if they had actually been approached by Netflix to make a show, because there was an article months back that sort of said that was true. James confirmed it's not necessarily Netflix, but they get more than one offer and have had more than one offer on creating IP for Flesh and Blood, including actual TV show, a serialized show. He also said that that's probably not something they want to do immediately, although that would be the obvious, most people would want to do that. And I think this speaks a lot for James and how he thinks, is he wouldn't want something that big to happen this early in the company's growth, where they wouldn't be able to capture people and maybe transition them from someone that watches the show or a movie or reads a book or whatever and convert them into a player. He literally said something along the lines of he'd much rather do that when there's 7 classic battle sets and the casual format is bigger, and maybe there's this a more streamlined learn to play product that they know they can funnel people to, thousands of people, millions of people, and they know that they can capture them, and which makes a lot of sense. It's like playing chess, not checkers. I was quite impressed with his answer, because I would be of the assumption that if someone wanted to pay me to use my intellectual property and make a TV show or something, I would jump on the opportunity. Obviously, there'd be money there to be made, but he's more interested in the game being popular than making money, and that's, in and of itself, will probably make him and LSS a lot more money if it's timed correctly, so it's pretty cool. But it's in the works is the point. It would take years to get something like that to happen anyway, from legal stuff to scripting to everything. I got to briefly meet his wife, Cece. She was wonderful, very hospitable. She's very much in touch with what happens in the game and in the community. She's a part of LSS as a founder. She has been with James for a long time, and the project is nearly as old as their daughter, if you know the story. Before they had a child, that was when James realized that he probably wants to build something, not be, build something like, I guess, a legacy or something from the ground up. His daughter is very cute, very, very smart, very well spoken. Definitely comes across as older than she is, which is quite impressive. Intelligent parents, I guess, helps. Last thing we spoke about was the community in general, both negative and positive. James doesn't shy away from the negative feedback, trust me. What he does hate is lies and people maybe stirring the pot, saying things that just are completely untrue. He's not necessarily, or LSS aren't necessarily going to come out and pick or reply to every single mistruth that's said out there. But keep that in mind when you see any form of drama, inverted commas, that that they are a small company. They're still in a growth phase. They still pay attention to the feedback in the community, and they work pretty freaking hard. But what I was sort of talking to him about was, what can the community do? Like people like me that are passionate, that might have some resources or skill set to help. Specifically, the disappointment with not getting calling streamed and national streamed, etc. So James and I had a very similar idea of how to fix that problem. It's just something that they haven't been able to execute on. So I put my hand up. That might be something I help them with. Like in generic words, or in a broad view of the topic, maybe getting the community itself to do all the streaming, but just get guidance from LSS as to the quality of the video itself, what overlays to use, maybe limit what sort of sponsors. Like the point is, if I got told by LSS that I could stream all Australian events on my channel, I would do it. But I would need some backup from them, not monetarily, but at least make it so that any tournament organizer in Australia, as part of the paperwork or the contract, knows that Fluke and Box is going to be streaming the event. As long as LSS does that, it makes it worth my while to go invest in some equipment, maybe work out a casting team to help. The way the world works, I can easily stream the Australian calling and have Flake and DM Armada do the casting from their homes, you know what I mean? But I'd need to know that I'm not going to do all this work and spend time, and then, the tournament organizer wants to set up their own stream or whatever. So it's something he's promised to look into and see what he can do. Because as much as I'm against a digital client for the game, which we didn't actually talk about, but, LSS is a in the flesh and blood type of game, and that's how it's going to stay. There's the argument to be made that you really need a social media presence. You really need high quality streaming of the games to help the community grow. He agrees. Let's hope. Let's see what we can do. But that's it. That's most of the topics we talked about. Lots of laughs. Again, he's across everything that we are across in the community. He's just busy actually working. Dynasty is coming out. It's a lot of work, I'm sure. I didn't really get into specifics, but I'm sure by now it's been ordered, or the printing is started, or it's very close to that. It's definitely going to be the best supplementary set to open. Just speaking to Chris Gearing and the way, how Uprising works and how good the opening experience is. He wouldn't promise me that it was better than Uprising, but it's definitely going to be the best supplementary set we've ever seen, is what I've been told. But that's it. The only spoiler secret source stuff that I got to see or talk about that you didn't, you're seeing one of them, is the Dragon playmat. It's these boxes, and look, they're a bunch of professionals. When I went to the office, a chunk of the office is the development team, the people testing the new set and stuff. That door is security locked, and I was not allowed there. And the promo room, I wasn't allowed in either, where all the promos are packed for armory kits and stuff, because again, they're working months and months in advance to ship everything out logistically. But all in all, great experience. Looking forward to the weekend. Battle Hard and Skirmish, the armory tonight. Going to meet a whole bunch of people, new faces that I've maybe spoken to or aware of and haven't met yet. So I'll try and keep you guys updated. This video is anyone that hasn't been able to come to New Zealand and may not get the opportunity to spend a whole chunk of time with James, give you an insight of how that went. James has promised to jump on the Funder podcast, so subscribe to that if you haven't yet. Hopefully we'll get him in for October when the new set's coming out, before the new set's coming out. Maybe discuss that, maybe get some exclusive behind the scenes spoiler from him for that episode, but I'll keep you guys posted when that happens. Alright guys, like and subscribe this video, and talk to you soon.